STPL.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's STPL. My name is Kix if you're joining us for the first time. This is a global team league. This is the format, as always, best of fives for all the games of the group stage and all the games of the playoffs up until the finals, which will be a best of seven. But set 1 to 4, all the lineups are selected in advance. All the games will be played at the same time, and set 5 is the ace match, which means anyone who has played before can play again, or anyone else on the roster if they are available, depending on obviously who is available at any one time. So it's kind of cool. We've had a lot of good games this season, and the map pool for this season has actually added to that quite a lot. We've got Hitchhiker, Monty Hall SE, Core Breach, Tripod, Andromeda, Byzantium 3, Fantasy 2, and La Mancha. And overall, just it's been real. I mean, obviously, I'm going to say this, but
reporting for duty.
Oh, thank you, Cadenti, for the host. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty good season, I'm hoping. I'm actually surprised Cadenti was streaming on Twitch. Can't believe I didn't realize. I feel quite bad now. But either way, let's have a look at our two teams for today. Starting us off here is going to be NetWars. NetWars, the best team in Poland. I mean, they're pretty much the only team in Poland, I think, for Brood War, but they're filled with all the best Polish players. We've got the introduction of someone called Zoom, who I don't know, but he's in the ZZZ clan with Zero. But for now, we're going to just call him Zoom because it makes it easier to read. Koga, one of the highest ranked players in the STPL. Yeti, ranked high as well, both of them with an insane win ratio. Zoom, brand new player, of course, and Mr. Zero down here. Now, I do apologize for clashing with the BSL today if you're watching, Zero, and everyone else. I needed to catch up, and today was the only day I could do it. So it was either this or try and cast on Saturday or Sunday when more people are going to be watching BSL anyway. So I thought I'd just get out of the way and done on Thursday. But NetWars definitely a really strong team. They didn't win their first week this round, but hopefully they'll do a little bit better here. Now, head to head, it's actually 2 wins and 5 losses against their opponent, and that is because their opponents are the one, the only, it's White Clan. White Clan, one of the most historied clans in Korea, have come second in both seasons of the STPL stuff so far, with an incredibly strong roster. This season, due to the new rule, the addition of having to have players play twice before you can put them out in the playoffs, we're seeing a lot more players play a little bit more early on. Like Fairy kind of joined us closer to the end of Season 2 and then played a ton of games. Kane Yang hasn't really played that much. He got one walkover and got a win. But it's kind of cool. Fairy is probably the one I know the most outside of Yes Man. Yes Man has been one of the major players in White Clan. He's got really high yellow. He comes out beats some really, really good players. And just overall, just a really, really sick lineup. I'm not really too sure about Tem at all, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. Today's matchup, we're going to have a TVP on the Mancha, we're going to have a PVZ on Hitchhiker, a ZBT on Byzantium 3, and then finally a ZVP on Core Breach. So if you don't like mirrors, today is the best time to watch. And speaking of watching, I just want to say a massive shout out to our sponsors, Liquipedia, Esport Fund, and Matcherino. If you enter the code that's just been spammed in the chat on that Matcherino link, you can add 50 cents to the prize pool completely free. It takes absolutely no cost to you, and it adds 50 cents to the prize pool. So really, really worth doing that. We'll introduce our first couple of players here. Starting off here, if you watch Foreign Brood War, you will know this man, and he probably doesn't need much of an introduction, but the Polish powerhouse himself, it's Mr. Kogut. Kogut is an incredible Terran player, one of the best Terran players outside of Korea, and he doesn't play as much in solo tournaments anymore, but in terms of level, I put him level with someone like Terra. He is incredibly good. He's got an incredible win rate. He's rank 2 in ELO, which is just ridiculous. Like, he's up there with some really good players. Let's actually have a quick look at the ELO rankings. You can see for yourself how well he is actually doing. He is second only to Scan. He is above Noob, he's above Famasi, he's above Eon, he's above Spire, he's above DeWalt, he's above Tai2, he's above Bonneth, and he's above Forever. Kogut is an absolute boss. His win rates are just insane, and just overall, just a brilliant player. He's got an 83% win rate overall. That's ridiculous, guys. That is so hard to do, and that's over 43 games. That is 43 weeks of STPL he's played in, and he has done an incredible job in all of them. His opponent, fighting for White Clan, doesn't have the history that he does in the STPL, but he has played in 2 weeks so far in Season 3. No, that was actually 2 weeks in Season 2 near the end. But he won both of them. One was a walkover against Vulture, I think it was a multiverse, but then he got a win over Dark as well. So let's introduce our first map, then we can get into the replay, and I say that as I don't even have the replays loaded, so I need to make sure that I get on that while we're doing this. But the map is going to be La Mancha. If you've been playing ladder at all this season, if you've been watching anyone stream, you will very likely see this map quite a lot. It's a really popular map from back in 2010, I think this map came out. You know what? I think I have that on the overlay somewhere. Maybe I removed it. Oh no, I didn't. It's okay. It's not on your part, the overlay, but it's actually from the Shinhan Bank Winners League in 2011. Really standard 4-player macro map. You can't really ask for anything better. And without further ado, let's actually get into game number 1. As I say that, the replay is just loading up, so you'll just have to give me 1 second. And it should be good. We've had some great series so far this season. Yesterday the games were insane. We had the most ridiculous nuke come out from Mr. Radley, the Ghost King. And now it's going to be up to the Polish powerhouse himself, Mr. Kogut here. And we'll have to see how he's going to do as we get into game number 1. Okay, starting us off here in the top right-hand position, we do have the blue Terran player fighting for NetWars. It's the Polish powerhouse himself, it's Kogut. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left-hand position in the red. As the Protoss player, it's Kane Yang fighting for White Clan. So in terms of knowing these players, TVP, I wouldn't say, at least in the foreign scene, is Kogut's best quality in the STPL though. He's done an incredible job against Protoss. He's got a 75% win rate over 24 games, which is just absolutely crazy. In his last 10 games, he's played against 4 Protosses, including Oya from IRK, winning that. And Kogut's ELO is so high now that when he's winning, he's only getting 2 to 5 ELO per win. Like, the only person he would get a sizable amount of ELO from beating is Scan, but he hasn't unfortunately met Scan yet, I don't think. So we've not had a cool TVT. Now Kane Yang, however, I don't think we've... Yeah, we have seen... No, we haven't actually seen TVP from him. PVT, sorry. he did have a TVP, which was, or PVT, which was a walkover, and that was back in Season 2, so I'm kind of interested to see how one of White Clan's Protosses are going to do here. And apparently I don't sound right, which isn't good. That's weird. I guess my voice is maybe a bit messed up today. I was casting a lot yesterday, so... Cadenzi saying I sound British. Oh my god. Well, that is true. It's my mic. My mic's fine, isn't it? Maybe try refreshing the stream. Okay, so Koga is going to go for a very standard build here. Going to wait until 88 gas and then pull off most likely. There we go. Is he going to pull 1 or 2 off? Now, if you... Yeah, it's okay. So it's going to be 2. Means we're going to see a very quick command center from him here. Quick factory as well. And in terms of Kane Yang, he is scouting around looking for Koga. Did go for a very late scout, Kane Yang did actually. So... yeah, he's actually going to skip the early Zealot, not going to try and put any pressure on early on. Now, I do wonder if Kane Yang actually knows who Koga is, because Koga has played a lot in the STPL, and White Clan do take the STPL incredibly seriously. I can only imagine he's had some pointers from the Protoss players that he's played before. We've got the bunker coming up at the front. This is to do a bunker expand, one of the more standard ways of expanding in TVP recently. It kind of kind of came into popularity kind of this year, end of last year, because people, the main build that people used to do for the longest time was FD. Before that was Siege Expand. It was still used, but looks like Kane Yang is going to be a little bit cheeky here, going for 1 base DT. Now, is Koga going to be able to scout this? Oh my god, the low ground mischance. Oh my god, he's going to get into the main base. He sees only 1 gateway. He sees range, but will he see the Citadel? He doesn't, but he knows it's still only 1 base at 4 minutes. There was no probe getting ready to go for the expansion, and those Dragoons had the most unlucky shots ever. But is Koga gonna know, based on what he scouted, that he needs to get an academy? And I mean, even turrets would be good. It looks like he's waiting or holding off for the moment. He is gonna go into double tank first, but if Koga gets caught off guard here from DTs with what he scouted, then I think he's gonna be a little bit worried. Now, there is actually a cheerful for Koga, which I'll quickly throw up, just because we may actually have not very much time to actually show this one off. Because if he dies here, it's going to be a little bit embarrassing for him, especially for the rank 2 player of the STPL. That's definitely not something you want to be dying to. But let's have a look at this cheerful. Made by the wonderful Lucky Noob, as always. We've just got a little pressure on the bunker. We're not really missing too much if we throw up the chill. Oh, he's actually going in. He's going to try and snipe the tank. Doesn't get it, though. This bunker is in a really nice position. Now, we should have that Templar Archives done. Yes, it is. We should have the first DT about to pop out. Now, while this pops out, just before it's too late, let's have a look at this wonderful cheerful with Koga being like an archangel or something, which is, or an archangel, which is really, really cool. Now, he's actually beating up a Nexus here, but the way this is going so far, I'm not really sure if that's going to happen. Now, he does have an engineering bay. He is getting a turret, so he does know what he's doing. Really, really sick. Koga, super clever. He knows exactly what he has to do in every situation, which is why he is so good. And Kane Yang is going to be expanding, but he is behind economically to Koga, of course, who did get a little bit more... He did get his economy up a little bit faster by going for the expansion. DT is going to run in and go immediately down. That's a really nice turret, by the way. It's actually just out of range, so the DT has to run into the bunker to notice if it can get spotted or not. Now, we have a turret in the main base as well. Just checking for any observers coming in, checking for a DT drop as well. That is definitely something that players can do. Now we do have a shuttle coming in, and I think we are going to have a DT drop into the main here, so hopefully Koga is going to be able to get his scanners up quick enough, and he won't die to this, because a lot of his units are at the front. But until this shuttle comes out, Koga doesn't really have anything to worry about. By then he should have a few additional units. He's got a third and fourth factory coming up. His armory is not on the way yet, so he's actually going to skip his armory for the time being, which is going to delay his +2 attack upgrade. So he is going to look to do a little bit of a timing here off of 5 factories, most likely, just saving up his gas, waiting to get his way up here. He spent his gas on a comsat, of course. Now, Kane Yang going to be going for a third base, which means this 5 factory play here from Koga could actually be very, very strong. Kane Yang still only on 2 gateways. He's actually preparing for a drop that's not coming. And he has no real way of putting any pressure on Koga, but Koga has to make sure he saves these scans, because when he pushes, that's going to be the only thing he has to defend against the DTs. And let's see how this goes, because this is a tough push to pull off, especially against a good player. But it looks like Koga's doing pretty much everything as perfectly as you can. He's getting speed and mines at the same time. This means he started speed first, mines after. Another depot coming in. It's very important that you constantly build depots when you're going for this build, because you start flooding vultures incredibly quickly. You can see already from here, now that speed is done, he's going to reinforce with only vultures and get ready to push forward. Now, Kane Yang's army is not very big, and he actually went for Reaver behind this. Now, that is not a common follow-up, but there is speed coming in for his shuttle, so this is going to make this an incredibly strong play. And this is all going to come down to this early game, or this mid-game micro here. If he can block Koga from coming in, oh, this is pretty good. He does get a good surround there with the Dragoon on the mine, but the mine does go off. Now, Koga pushed forward maybe a little bit too far, too quickly. And these vultures are not in the right place now. The tanks at the back going to siege up. The Reaver coming in here. Scarab going down on the tanks, doing a lot of damage to this back tank. These tanks are really the backbone of this army. And unfortunately, his tanks are just taking so much damage. All of his vultures have gone down. And oh my god, the Reaver goes down. Okay, that was one lucky mine. But unfortunately, because he's only reinforcing with vultures here, the reinforcements from Kane Yang should be able to hold on to this. Nice micro, though, by the Polish powerhouse here, as he is going to move in with some more vultures into a few more Dragoons. But he does have some mines, so he should really try and block that base from coming up. But we will see tanks coming in once again from Koga here. Starport is on the way. No armory still. There's actually an armory only just now starting up here. So if Koga cannot find damage with this, he is going to find himself in a very, very awkward position. Now, Koga is getting ready. He has learned, I imagine, from Firebat Hero here, because he did a video that explained all of this. Oh, the probes are going to get caught transferring. This is actually a big moment for Koga. Koga's down in workers. He was cutting them for a while to do this push. But does he have enough units to actually deal with the units that Kane Yang has? That's the big problem. Now, pushing with these turrets means possible Arbiter Tech cannot do anything. But we know as the Almighty Observer that there isn't any Arbiter Tech, and it is actually only 6 gateways. So Koga is still in a very, very good position. He's going to have to push forward with these turrets, though. That'll help him with the Reaver this time. And let's have a look. See, yeah, so he is still building tanks as well. +1 should be coming in very, very soon. But it looks like he is getting ready for that. Oh, the shuttle nearly going down to the turret, making sure he keeps that alive for the time being. But Koga's running out of time. The longer this goes on, the worse his economy is going to be in terms of how far behind he is. And it means Kane Yang his army is just going to get bigger and bigger. He has to find some kind of damage here, be it kill the army or kill a base. He has to find something. Now, I do wonder if it'd be better if Koga sent a tank up here to force the units around. Now, the Vulture's going to come in here. They are going to sacrifice themselves a little bit. That mine, actually very, very good. The mine's in an amazing position here. The Reaver dragging in, but the mine's on... Oh, the mine's on the Dragoons! So much damage going down at this third base. A lot of units going down to this single tank as well at the back. Now all of the probes go down. Koga is ahead in workers, and he has a stranglehold outside of the Protoss bases, but the trouble is he still does not have that many reinforcements. His money is very low right now where he is macroing up. But he eventually does need to take a third base if he can't kill the Protoss here. Now this is 6 tanks, 7 tanks. That's definitely going to make this a little bit stronger. But you have to remember no +1 is done. There's no +2 either. +2 should, if he got an armory at normal timing, be coming up around 13-14 minutes if I remember correctly. But looks like the Zealot's going to run in, all die to the mines. The Reaver goes down, the shuttle goes down, and I think Koga may just have a little bit too much here. Kane Yang losing all of his army once again. And that means Observer's going over to check the third base. He's going to see that his opponent is all in, and that's going to maybe make him feel a little bit better. But I think this could be a little bit too much for Koga here to have outside of his opponent's base. And unless we get like a surprise carrier or a surprise arbiter, I don't think anything's going to work here. It's just going to be mass gateway units against mass factories. Koga getting ready to expand to his third base. And this tank is nearly in a position where it can attack the... oh, it's actually not in a position where it can attack the third. Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. But you can see Kane Yang going to play that pop-up Protoss style. Everybody knows and loves. Going to go towards a fourth base here. And just try and sack this third base. But of course, the longer this game goes on, things are definitely getting out of control here for our Protoss player. Oh, Koga moving forward a little bit too aggressively here. These two tanks are going to be stuck out in the middle of the map. He may lose them to the Zealots, and that's definitely not something you want. Every tank counts, especially when the gateway count is so much higher. But this tank, no! The tank's going to go down. But there is still a ton of tanks here. This is, let's not get this twisted, as Rapid would say. Let's zoom out a little bit so we can keep all the action on one screen. Certainly something that is one of my favorite things about Remastered. Now Koga still doesn't have a third base. His +1 attack should have now just finished, or it's just about to. But this third base is going to finish up here, or is going to be killed over here in the top left as soon as the tank decides to focus it. But you got to remember the one thing about the Mantra is this base is here as well. It also gives Kane Yang a way to push around the outside of the map, but it's tough when you've got this many tanks outside of your base. It's really difficult to come back from this situation. Now Koga yet again proving how strong he is in the STPL. Now plus the science facility is done. This means +2 attack will start hopefully immediately. Got to keep an eye on this because it's very important you get +2 straight away when your armory was late, even when you got it on a normal time as well. But it looks like Koga getting ready to come in from behind. The probes are completely undefended right now. A couple of cannons are going to be warping in. But Koga knows about this base now. Here we go, though. It looks like we're going to have Kane Yang try and push forward to clear his way through these mines. Not going to have much luck. The vultures have jumped on top of the cannon. They do kill one. The other one is going to be able to warp in, though. So he is going to try and focus his probes. Great target firing, by the way, by Koga. This is so hard to do, especially when you're surrounded by probes, and he gets all of the probes in the mineral line. Koga is now almost doubling his opponent's worker supply. But that does mean that Kane Yang's army is incredibly strong, and look at this, he's going to move around the outside, and this is going to give Koga a chance to go to the natural. This could be the moment he puts the nail in the coffin here. Storm not able to be used on those High Templar, and this movement is going to force Kane Yang back over this short, small bridge. And that is not a position you want to engage from as a Protoss player. But this is a good surround by the Zealots. The mines doing a ton of damage to the tanks. There's so many tanks at the back, but they're not sieged up. Oh my god, is Koga going to lose his army here? That would actually be tragic, but it doesn't look like he will. It looks like he does have enough. But the longer this fight goes on, the worse it seems to be getting for Koga's Zealots. So unbelievably strong when there's no vultures nearby. Koga's not going to lose this engagement, is he? There's no way. Kane Yang with some amazing target firing, doing so much damage. But it looks like Koga may just have enough to hold on. But the Zealots, the mines, doing so much friendly fire damage. Oh my goodness, this is so unfortunate for Koga. But Koga's third base is up. He's going to get his third gas soon. +2 is on the way. 2-1 will be finished up eventually. And once again, we have both players kind of trading their entire armies away against each other. Oh, Koga going for the High Templar, gets one of them, does lose his vultures to the storm. But this other vulture is going to lay a couple of mines here as well. Unfortunately not going to be able to do much with it though. Now let's see what Koga's plan is from here. Is he going to continue pressing the issue, or is he just going to harass his way to a victory? Oh my god, he gets the other High Templar. That's actually very critical. Storm is such a great equalizer against Terran if you can use it well. Now it is very difficult to do that, but certainly a player of Kanyang's caliber can do it. But the trouble is, Kanyang finds himself with barely any minerals left. He's losing more probes again. Koga finding holes where holes are not supposed to be. And the defense of Kanyang definitely crumbling a little bit to Koga's constant aggression. And it's just a shame we didn't get two-pronged aggression on this base. I mean, realistically, if he sends a group of vultures here and 2 tanks here, he's going to be able to take down that base. But Koga's army still isn't that big. He's only got about 75 supply, so there's not really too much he can do. But this is definitely looking like a Koga victory at the moment. He's going up to a 4th base in a position that Kanyang is never going to be able to attack. And we did have some vultures come over here, but unfortunately they weren't able to do any harassment. But I mean, the guerrilla playstyle of Koga so far has been pretty amazing. He's always finding damage. It looks like he is going to be able to circle around at the back of these Dragoons, and there we go. GG, Kanyang taps out, and Koga wins game number 1. Now, one thing I would like to point out, just in case you're wondering, all the games are played on top versus bottom, which means essentially the chat doesn't always show up at the end of the replay. So even if you don't see a GG on the screen, the player most likely GG'd. It's just the way the replay mode works. But we're going to be heading into game number 2 when we get back after this short break. See you guys soon.
STPL Season 3. Yeah. STPL does. Bio TVP? Wow! No problem. We got dragons to defend. Yeah. STPL does. STPL does. Mass Scout? Oh, I'm so afraid. We got Hydralisks to defend. Yes. STPL. STPL. Fantastic production. Fantastic casters. Fantastic prize pool. Only in STPL.
Outstanding. Rock and roll.
Okay, it's time for a quick tip. Here we have Neo Outlier. I'm going to show you how to... Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 2 here. Starting us off for NetWars is going to be Yeti. Yeti, one of the strongest Protoss players in the STPL. There were many times where people were saying, like, Yeti is one of those players that he doesn't necessarily do amazing in solo tournaments, but that doesn't mean he's a bad player. A lot of people were putting Yeti down during Season 1, saying, oh, he's only winning because he's against bad opponents, but he came out against ASL qualified Buell and won a 40-minute macro game on Athena 2 in Season 1, and he has played some incredible opponents and beat them as well. He barely lost to DeWalt the last 2 times he's played against him, and just overall, he is a team league beast. A really, really good player for NetWars, always comes out, has an amazing win ratio versus Zerg as well. He's 9 for 2, which is just quite frankly ridiculous, and it's going to mean his opponent is going to have a tough time here. His opponent, Fairy, for White Clan, has an equally nice win rate, but over a lot less games even. So it's a little bit harder to tell how he's doing. His ELO is pretty good though, in the top 30. Certainly means he's a strong player. The last Protoss he played against was Jesse and Eriador, so winning both of those, but Yeti, at least in STPL terms, is kind of a step above both of those players, and overall it should be really, really fun to get to see this game. Now the map we're going to be going into is going to be Hitchhiker. Hitchhiker is another one of those maps that you should know because it's on ladder. It was used in the recent ASL as well, but if you don't, top left and bottom right hand corner spawns, there is a small canyon through the middle of the map, which early game means early game aggression is very strong, but the later the game goes on, the harder it gets to push through that location, and it forces you around the snaking exterior of the map. You can break through into your opponent's main, or you can break through to their expansions by killing the temples, depending on which way you decide to push. So really, really fun map, usually leads to some really strategic and amazing games, and I'm looking forward to getting into it as we get into game number 2. And the game has started, and starting us off here in the top left hand corner, it's Fairy fighting for White Clan. And his opponent down here in the bottom right hand corner in the navy blue, it's Yeti fighting for NetWars. Now we did just see NetWars take game number 1, which is certainly not something White Clan are used to, losing games for certain in the STPL. Now every series after the first 2, I think it was, that NetWars have played with White Clan has always gone to the ace match. They played 3 series technically in season 2 in the playoffs, because it was a best of 3, best of 5s. And it came down to the very last game of the very last set where Bonneth fought against Mind and unfortunately did fall, but it was just a really insane series, really, really fun to watch. And just overall, these two teams, like, they're really evenly matched. It's kind of oddly so. Like, I know that a lot of, well, NetWars are obviously a very good team, but you'd always think of White Clan. A lot of people think because they're Korean, they're just automatically better, but you can't sleep on Poland, man. Poland's the Korea of Europe. That's been what I've been saying for like the last 4 years, because all of their players are just fantastic, every single one of them. And while some don't do as well in solo tournaments like Yeti, they come out in a best of 1 format like Yeti does, and they boss it. Now we've got Yeti going for 1 base play, which is not surprising on this map whatsoever. But just because we've got one, I'm going to throw up another cheerful from the wonderful Lucky Noob. If you want to submit your own, there is a cheerful thread on TL where you can make them, and I'll show them off on stream like this, but look how amazing this is. Cheering for White Clan. He wants to he wants to get them back in the game. He's also going to cheerful for NetWars as well. Thank you, Least, for the host, man. Hopefully your stream went okay. We're currently watching NetWars versus White Clan. NetWars are currently at a 1-0 lead, so White Clan looking to win this game to bring it back to at least 1-1. They definitely don't want to be losing another series this season, because they did lose to EF in Week 1. Week 2 they did beat White, but this is actually only NetWars' 2nd series so far. They lost in Week 1. I can't remember who they actually lost to, but it was a good series. So Game 1, we saw Koga beat Kanyang in a really well played TVP. But I do wonder what Yeti's plan is off of 1 base. We're going into a Robo, so it's most likely going to be 1 base Reaver. Now, the one player in Poland that I would say is definitely known for 1 base Reaver is the wonderful Bonneth, but everyone's seen a lot of Bonneth's games. Like Yeti especially, given the fact they are both Polish brethren. They've probably practiced quite a bit together throughout the years. I mean, obviously I don't know that for sure, but I can only assume that they will play together a lot. And maybe he's picked up a few pointers from Bonneth here now. Yeti, definitely a good Reaver player in his own right as well. He's played some incredibly good games in the STPL so far too, so definitely don't count him out. Now we have got a 3 hatchery play coming in here for Fairy, which means he is he's not going to take a third base with it, which isn't a massive deal on this map, given your fact your opponent is going to be low on bases anyway. But it does mean you're going to be able to macro out a lot of Hydralisks very quickly. And that means there's a lot of problems here for Yeti, because Hydras, they do pretty well, especially once they get speed against slow shuttles. Now, looks like Yeti going to catch an Overlord here, which is actually a pretty big pickoff. Going for those 2 Dragoons was actually really clever. Now, there is an all-in push you can do in ZVP, in PvZ, sorry, where you go for Dragoon Reaver. Now, that could actually be a really interesting tactic for this map. Fairy is most likely not going to be ready to defend against it, and Fairy of course doesn't know if his opponent has expanded towards the bottom left yet, so he's only going off of the information he has. He knows there's a good number of gateway units at the moment, but looks like Yeti's going to activate the push. Now, is this going to work? Fairy back at home does have a single sunken, is starting to macro up. Some Hydralisks, a creep colony coming up in the main, that's certainly going to help here. Now, this is probably the most important moment in the game. Is this... Oh, it looks like the Ling is going to get in. It's going to see the shuttle, so he knows what he's up against. And this means he's going to be able to defend it a little bit easier. A second creep colony coming in. It's still only 1 gateway, so every single unit and every single second matters here. Now, one thing Yeti can do is he can actually elevate her onto the high ground here and target down the gas, go into the main, and really look to get a better engagement. But look at this, let's see what the Reaver can do. It looks like he's going to pick it up. There is a good number of Hydras here. They're not able to... Oh, that's a great Scarab. And Yeti doing a really, really good job so far with his micro. Now, Reavers do outrange Sunkens, but it is very, very awkward in certain positions like this one. Nearly loses his Reaver there. That would actually be horrible. Does need to be very, very careful. Oh, he picks it up with the shuttle, but the Hydra's getting on top of the shuttle. This is definitely risky. He cannot lose this shot. He cannot lose this Reaver either. Oh, he loses a Dragoon to the Sunken, unfortunately, but oh my god, this Reaver's going to go down. Oh my god, no, it's not. Reavers have the weirdest range ever. Now, here we go. Looks like the Hydra's going to jump on top of the on the shuttle, but the units... He loses the Reaver, but he kills all of the Hydras. But the trouble is, he still can't push in. There's no second Reaver here. The second Reaver is only just now starting up. And it looks like Yeti realizes there's not much he can do. Now, he does have worker parity with his opponent, so it's not the end of the world. But obviously, he is now a little bit behind. He traded well with the Hydralisks at the very least. Only really lost a Dragoon and a... only really lost a Dragoon and a Reaver, which... honestly isn't a bad thing, but this shuttle is so unbelievably close to dead. He needs to be so careful with this. Now, is he going to push forward again? He's actually going to add on. He's added on a second gateway, and he's added on a third gateway here, so he is going all in. Is Fairy going to realize this? He's actually not built any more Sunkens. He maybe thinks that Yeti is going to be hiding back home, not pushing out very far very soon. But Yeti's coming back for attack here. Now the Reaver going to drop off. He's going to try and outrange this bunker. No plus. Outrange the Sunken. Now here comes the Hydras again. Looks like a nice Scarab going to go down on those front Hydralisks. Nice second Scarab as well. The Reaver not losing any health so far, really. And the Dragoons are holding strong here. This is definitely a strong push here from Yeti. He's going to have to try and push forward to get these Sunken, so if he wants to break through. And if he breaks this other Sunken... Oh my god, this is really, really good by Yeti. He's actually making sure... Oh, he gets it. This is actually a massive moment in this game, but he loses the Reaver. The shuttle does survive, though, which means he can go back and get another Reaver, but still no shuttle speed. The other Reaver is actually slowly crawling towards Fairy's base here, but Fairy is actually in a bit of trouble. He's forced into nothing but Hydras. The Hydras are not trading very well at all with Yeti's army, and this is slowly starting to get out of hand for our Zerg player. Now there is a second creep colony coming in, but that's not going to go into a Sunken just yet. Now, we need to be very, very wary about this Reaver. Now, the Reaver going to get targeted. The shuttle gets targeted immediately, but is there enough units here to defend the Reaver? No, the Reaver goes down. Now it's just Hydras against Dragoons. The Sunken really helping out here. I think, unfortunately, Yeti may have been checkmated here. He doesn't have many units back at home because he's building units off of 3 gateways. He doesn't have anything in terms of money to expand. Now, there's still been no additional drones for Fairy, so this is still an incredibly low economy game. So it still could go either way. As long as Yeti can macro up a big enough army and push back in, he could actually still get something done here. But it's definitely tough. Just Dragoons is not what you want against just Hydras. Now the Reaver's going to be coming in here. There is only one in the shuttle. The second Reaver going to be built again. But he needs to wait for more units. He keeps pushing in a little bit too early. Now here comes the Reaver. He gets a Scarab off, picks up without taking any damage. And that's actually a good trade. That's the kind of trade he needs. But realistically, he needs to wait for 2 Reavers. If he gets 2 Reavers here, this is pretty much game over. Like, Fairy cannot deal with 2 Reavers. Now he goes in for the snipe. Is he going to be able to get it? He gets both of the Sunkens here. This is actually a massive moment in this game. Is there just too much from Yeti? Fairy in a very good position. The Dragoons actually very, very low on health. And here comes a creep colony, but it's not going to become a Sunken. And Yeti is getting into the mineral line of his Zerg opponent. The Natural is being ravaged here. And this could be the moment Yeti needed to take this game. He's got 400 minerals. He's going to expand behind this as well. No, that's not a probe. But he definitely should expand. And the Reaver getting more and more value the more this goes on. The drone's actually being sacrificed here. 12 workers for Fairy. And it looks like Yeti has done it. GG. Fairy taps out and Yeti wins game number 2. Now guys, I would just like to point out that means we have NetWars 2-0 up against White Clan. Definitely not something many people would believe possible when they look at like Koreans versus foreigners, but it's definitely possible. White Clan are not invincible, and NetWars are proving it here. Obviously, White Clan still have a shot in this series, but they will need to win 3 games in a row if they want to come back here. Now, we're going to be heading into game number 3, which is going to be a TBZ between Yesman and Zoom when we get back after this short break. See you guys soon. Toss a coin to your content creators, oh Valley of Plenty, oh Valley of Plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your content creators, a friend of humanity. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading over to game number 3. NetWars are currently 2-0 up against White Clan, and it's going to be up to this man for White to see if he can hold on. He is Yes Man. He's rank 14 in the STPL based on yellow. He's only played 18 games, and he's got a 77% win rate, which is crazy. But essentially, a really, really good player is Yes Man. He's won 6 of his last 10 games. He's only got a 33% win rate against Zerg, but it has only been 3 games, of course. The 2 Zergs he last played against were True Touch and Zealot, which are 2 very, very strong Zerg players. He did lose to both of them, unfortunately. TVP, definitely more Yes Man's forte. But his opponent is going to be a new player for NetWars from Poland as well. It's going to be Zoom. Not going to show his player stats because there aren't none yet. This is amazing. So let's have a look at the map stats. We're going to be heading into Byzantium 3. This is going to be our first TVZ here. We've actually had 5 TVPs already on this map, with Terran definitely having a little bit of an advantage. But TVZ should be fun here. Very easy for the Zerg to get 3 gas, although much like on Gladiator, it is a little bit harder than say on Fighting Spirit because the main is down a ramp rather than up one. So we'll have to see if we get there. Not really too sure how Zoom plays. Ziggy I saw was in chat a little bit beforehand, who's Starmania BW I think it is, or Starmania BJ. So maybe he's got some insight about Zoom. But Zoom on the ZZZ clan along with Zero. So let's have a look at game number 3. Okay, starting us off here in the top right hand position, we have in the green, fighting for NetWars, it's Zoom. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right hand corner is in the blue, fighting for white, it's Yes Man. Now let's throw up another one of Lucky Noob's amazing... No, you know what? I'm going to save this other one. This is another really good cheer, and to be honest, throwing up another... I guess we should throw up another one of his White Clan cheers, shouldn't we? Because White Clan needs your energy. If they lose this game, they're going to lose the series 3-0 to NetWars, and that's definitely not something they want to be doing when they've already lost the series this season. Going to make it very difficult to get a good seed coming out of this. But where are we? Yeah, this is his other one he made, which is actually kind of disgusting, but it looks pretty amazing as well. Now, Lucky Noob has been making a lot of cheerfuls. If you want to submit your own, there's a template, and you can put one in here. It is kind of disgusting, this one, but this is a cheer to try and get White Clan some energy. But NetWars definitely doing amazing in this series. Now, I believe we actually had a 9 pool come in here from Zoom, which is pretty good. It's a bit of a weird choice to go in a game like this, but I guess he's got something prepared against his opponent. Maybe he saw how True Touch played against Yes Man before and is kind of going for that. Obviously, True Touch being a fellow Polish brethren as well. Now, Zoom going to go for an expansion on 11 supply here, so it's going to be a 9 pool, 11 hatch. Not quite as economic as a 12 pool, but... Now, we don't have a gas opening coming in here for Yes Man, so Yes Man is going to go for a 1 racks double, meaning he'll build his CC on the high ground most likely. And we've actually got Zoom going for a gas steal. Now, honestly, I don't really think this is very good against Terran. If they're going to go for a 1 racks fast expand anyway, they're going to be getting their gas a while away from now, so it's not really a big deal. Like, the only time I would say stealing gas is good is if you're going against 2 racks, because if they're going 2 racks on one base, they need an academy, and they need gas to get stim quicker. But, I mean, this is just going to be a drone and 75 minerals or 100 minerals that just is gone. Like, this is actually not achieving anything whatsoever. Although for some reason, Yes Man, it actually isn't building his CC just yet. He's going to build a bunker. Now, this is... I take it back. This is actually quite clever. The Marines are actually not going to get to the bunker. Oh, they get to the bunker just in time. Yes Man scouted with the SCV. That actually was a little bit more clever than I gave Zoom credit for. My bad, guys. That was really cool. He actually forced the Marines to stay in the main base, and he went for a push. Now, these Lings aren't going to really be able to do too much, but the gas has just come up. Should be able to go into lair and into muteless soon, but I mean, these Lings, they are just going to be kind of forfeit. Like, if he'd have maybe got in a little bit quicker with the Lings, maybe something good would have happened, but unfortunately, he's not going to find any damage. He does get scout off seas, it's still only one barracks, knows there's no gas, and knows there's an expansion, so not the biggest deal, but we've got Yes Man going for a little bit of SCV harass, but unfortunately this guerrilla play is not going to do too much here because Zoom just pulls off some drones to attack it away. We've got a third hatchery coming in here. Now this is actually really nice scout timing for Yes Man, because now Yes Man knows when he's going to need to get his turrets. When you're up against 2 hatch, you have to get your turrets around 5 minutes 30. Against 3 hatch, you can wait until 6 minutes 30. And Yes Man is actually going for a really powerful timing here. The Sunken isn't done. There's only a single Ling left. Oh my god, if he gets in before this Sunken is done, this is going to be impressive. But looks like the Sunken will finish. Oh yeah, he's going to cancel. Wow, that Sunken finished just in time. Both players just committing just a little bit too late there. But Zoom going to hold on, and he's going to feel pretty good about that. Now we are going into a +1 5 racks, most likely from Yes Man here, going for that +1, getting a second racks academy. Everything looking pretty normal. Expansion is up, bunker is done of course. And really we just have to wait and see when exactly and what exactly Zoom is going to be able to do with his Muteless. I feel his Spire may be a little bit late, but maybe it's just me as a Zerg player not understanding how quickly the building builds. But I think the Muteless should start or should pop around 6 minutes 30 if I remember correctly. So we'll have to see if Yes Man gets himself ready for it. But there we go, it is going to be 5 racks here. Now 5 racks is pretty much the reason why 3 hatch kind of went out of fashion. +1 5 racks completely crushes 3 hatchery play. 3 hatch relies on getting a lot of drones quite quickly, which is something Zoom doesn't have. And it also means your Muteless are late. So by the time the Muteless get to your base, you have a ton and ton of Marines. Now, it looks like Zoom could be stuck in a little bit of an awful timing here. The Spire still isn't done. This is definitely a late Spire. I'm fairly certain this is late. His drone count isn't super high either, but we've got double scan coming down from Yes Man. So Yes Man kind of just checking everything and seeing what's going on. He sees there's no Muteless. He's obviously seen the Spire is late, so that's going to allow him to delay his turrets just a little bit longer. And you'll soon see why +1 5 racks is so strong against 3 hatch play. Look at how many Marines he's already got. He is going to be able to push forward. There is going to be very little Zoom can actually do against this timing push. Like, Zoom realistically needs to try and take a 3rd base, try and get some harassment done. But he is going to be up against so much Medic Marine so quickly that I don't think this is going to work. Now the Muteless are starting to pop. We do have a couple of creep colonies coming in here. This does mean that the fact he's only going for 2 creep colonies means he is expecting to play super aggressive these Mutelisks to keep the Terran at home. But the Muteless is so late that it doesn't really feel like it matters. Like, look at this, he doesn't have his turrets done at 7 minutes 20. And it really actually doesn't matter whatsoever. Now, it looks like he is going to come in with some speedlings. There is nothing in the bunker. And he is going to be able to get on top of these the barracks here, which is going to be very good. But he is playing greedy with Sunkens. And look at this, we're just going to have a mass amount of bio heading up here. Looks like we are going to have some more Sunkens coming in, but is it a little bit too little too late? The Muteless in the main base, so definitely going to be causing a lot of problems. The Marine's going to jump in the bunker. Wow, he loses a barracks here. Now, this is the important moment in the game. Can he break through? Can he go through these Sunkens? There's a lot of medics here. The 3rd Sunken is not yet finished. A drone coming out here to help. He needs to hold on until the Sunkens are done. The 3rd Sunken is done, but the Marines, there's so many of them. The Muteless need to come back home, but they're not going to be able to get back in time. He's going to lose his hatchery and his natural. And you can see the Muteless flying back here. They're not going to be able to do anything. +1 attack is done. And +1 attack against Mutelisks. It's not a fight you want to take as a third player, realistically. Now the natural hatchery has gone down. He's supply blocked. His Muteless are going to absolutely melt to this bio. And he is 100% dead. There is absolutely no way he's holding on to this. There's going to be so many reinforcements coming in here as well. GG. Yes Man keeps the hopes alive of White Clan in the series and takes it to 2-1. Okay, so that is 2-1 for NetWars still. So NetWars only need to win one game still. But if White Clan can win the next game, they are going to take it to the ace match again against NetWars. But let's have a look and let's see if we can do that. Going to go to a little bit of a longer break. Should be about 5 minutes or so, just while I get a drink and stuff and get ready for the last, or possibly the last game. It's game 4, but you never know. So let's have a look. Let's go. See you in a second.
STPL does.
Bio TVP.
Wow!
You got it.
STPL does.
Mass Scouts? No problem. Broadcast 3 nights a week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 2100 CEST. Fantastic casting, fantastic production, fantastic prizes. Only here on the STPL. Did you know REAVERS could be this radical? How did these lings even get here? All I know is that's one dead base.
STPL does.
Wraiths, Valkyries, Carriers, and Corsairs. Forget about it. You won't see that anywhere else.
STPL
Does.
STPL
Does.
STPL
Does.
STPL
Does.
STPL does.
DT's doing game-ending damage? Name a more iconic duo. We've even got Carriers in PvZ.
How amazing!
A global team league on the scale you've never seen before.
Don't see this in BWCL. STPL does.
All that and more, only on this amazing 64-bit STPL. What BWCL don't. Impressed? I know I am. Why not support us on the link below? Patreon.com/kicks. But act fast. It's a limited offer. Okay, starting us off down here in the bottom left-hand corner as your Black Zerg here. It's going to be Dog fighting in the 9 o'clock position. And his opponent spawning up here in the top right-hand corner is going to be the one, the only, Pre fighting for DM from Chile. We're going to be heading across the map. And they're going to see if they can make it in. Now, no way is Pre going to hide a base in the other main. That is so ridiculous. Caught off guard. The mutas are going to die. Oh my goodness. Splitting the mutas, trying to get away. But he's banking 1.2k gas. There's going to be a Queen's Nest. I know it. We can feel it. There's going to be a Hive ZBZ. Pre is playing this so strange, but here we go. Looks like the Muta's going to come in. A lot of Mutas have actually hatched now for Pre. Okay, guys, going to cut that one a little bit short so we can go back to the game. Starting us off here for NetWars is going to be the one, the only Mr. Bombastic himself. It's Zero. Only rank 71 in the STPL, which is still respectable when there's 700 players registered in the STPL database. But he's got a 75% win rate against Protoss. His ELO is definitely not befitting of his stance and standard. here in the STPL. 50% win rate over 28 games is incredible given the amount of strong players in the STPL, and overall just Zero is really good at pretty much everything he does. So we'll have to see if he can beat the White Clan player Tem here. Now Tem is a brand new player for the STPL, so no stats for him, so we'll skip straight into introducing the map. It's going to be Core Breach. Now this is going to be our first CVP here. It is the up-to-date version of Innercoven. It didn't make it in time for ASL, but Freakling has made a lot of improvements to this version. It looks absolutely beautiful. There's a lot less random like dead space as well, and he actually added droppable locations to all of the ring expansions, which makes it a little bit easier to be aggressive later game. So I'm really hoping we get a nice long game here, but you never know. It is Core Breach. We could see like some crazy Ling all-in or something that goes through the middle of the map. But it is Mr. Zero, and he is very likely to play standard here. So let's see if he can carry NetWars home to a 3-1 victory over White Clan, or is Tem going to hold on and take us to an ace match? Let's find out as we get into game number 4. Okay, the game has begun, and down here in the bottom right hand corner, fighting for White Clan, trying to keep his clan, or trying to keep his team's hopes alive in the series, it's Tem. And his opponent spawning up here in the top right hand corner, it's Mr. Bombastic himself. He's on match point, it's Mr. Zero. Now I would once again, just because Mr. Zero is playing, like to apologize for the fact I'm clashing with BSL Gosu League at the moment. I was a day behind due to the servers going down last Friday, so I thought I'd try and catch up today. I didn't know Gosu League was going to be on, so my apologies to Horotos as well, Master A, who is casting, but when we're done here, I will send a host over and send all of you wonderful people to watch some more Brood War action. So Innercoven, or Core Breach as the map is now known. One thing that... Wait, is that... Oh, that Overlord is just in vision range. That's actually really nice. But Zero is going to expand on 12. Very, very standard here for Innercoven. If you don't know how this map works, by the way, there are those... It's hard to see them, I think, if we reveal the entire map. But well, we can't click them. Oh, yes, we can. They've actually fixed it. But these floor gun traps, they actually block Protoss and Terran expanding until you get detectors, which means Zerg can expand easily. Protoss players usually expand just off center, like we're going to see here as well. But due to the positioning of both of our players here, they're actually going to be expanding right next to each other. So this was a 13 next and a 12 hatchery. So these are very, very greedy, very interesting builds here coming out from each other. And they've actually scouted, well, we've got Tem scouting Zero straight away, so he knows exactly what's going on. Now, one thing I'd like to point out is the way this map... Okay, we can't really see it properly, but essentially, by here, you can see it here. There are eggs in front and on the other side of this sunken colony wall. This disruption web wall, sorry. And that means that essentially... you have the... it makes it impossible to push through here without killing the eggs, but when you're under the disruption web, you cannot kill them. So you can only kill them from the outside, which makes it a little bit easier to defend the bases. And just to confirm, this is not the ASL winner in Zero, it's the Polish Zero instead of the Korean one. But we do have players like Shine, Mine, Best, Hire, and Killer on White Clan. And the lineups for next week, guys, for... I'm gonna spoil something. Next week, White Clan are playing against Valhalla team, and the lineups are absolutely stellar. It's so, so good. Now, he did get the other floor gun trap, so he is going to double expel. Well, he's going to expand again here. We've got Zero already going up for the lair. Muteless play very, very good on this map. Wouldn't surprise me if we did see a Stargate straight away. Yep, that's exactly what we're going to see here from Tem. Because you do need to kind of do your best to kind of maintain air control on this map. Now, this is one of the funny things, because they're both under disruption web, they can't attack each other, so we've just kind of got a probe having a conversation with the Zergling. But looks like the probe is going to go in and scout. Will he see the spire? Oh, he's not seen the spire yet. He's seen the lair, but without seeing the spire, he cannot confirm what is going on. Now, it looks like he wants to go and try and confirm, see if there's a third base, which you will be able to. There's no eggs on this one, just to make it a little bit easier to go and defend your expansions. But Tem is going to come back the other way. Is he going to be able to see the spire? There is a creep colony coming up. Okay, yeah, so he does get to see the spire at the very least. That is a very important scout, because if you don't know the spire's coming, you can get yourself in a little bit of a tizzy here as the Protoss player. But we're not going to go overboard, I don't think, with Corsairs. We're not going to go double Stargate or anything. Now, Corsair Reaver is very good on this map, so I get the feeling that we're going to have a Robo support mate coming up after this. And the good thing about building it in this position is it puts you in a position to have a Reaver above your Nexus, and this means no units will ever be able to come through here. Now, if you go muteless, you can actually kill the eggs from above and then flood with Hydras. That's actually something a lot of Zerg players will do on this map. But we're not going to see that here. The Spire isn't done. I thought that was a Hydra Den, but it's actually an Evolution Chamber. And I mean, it looks like Zero is just playing this as standard as you possibly can. Now, cannon coming up by the Robo, just being extra careful here. Looks like the Corsairs looking around, trying to find an Overlord. I think they've only got one so far, yeah. So Zero's done a pretty good job hiding his Overlords back at home. Doesn't want to lose too many of them. Losing the one in the main is kind of expected. We've got the Robo support bay coming in as I expected we would do. The other funny thing about building the Robo here is you can actually waddle Reavers into your opponent's base once you've killed these eggs. Now, Reavers cannot shoot Scarabs under the disruption web, so you can't shoot Scarabs from under there, but you can Storm. So if you get Storm, there was the meme that came out of the ASL, which was the Storm Egg one. Now it looks like Zero going for a ton of Scourge here, trying to catch these Corsairs. If you can catch them unaware and kill them all, a Muteless switch here could be on the cards. But looks like unfortunately he's not going to be able to find any damage so far, losing a lot to cannons, which is definitely not something you want. But with +1 attack being done as well, is he going into +2? Not quite yet, but we do have the cannon coming up in the main. Oh, the Scourge getting on top of the Corsair. Whoa, why didn't they go off? Oh, is he going to get the... Oh, it's so close. Is he going to get the Corsair? No, the Corsair going to get away, but he did get one of them. That's actually a pretty big deal. Now, he's actually looking for the shuttle, I believe. Always trying to catch that Corsair as it spawns, but if he does, it means the cannon's going to clean this up. Now, does Zero have anything that can actually defend him against Reavers? Because if he does not, he is going to be in a lot of trouble here. You can try and get lucky with a Scourge, but with all the Corsairs here to help defend against this, this could be a bit of a problem. Now, let's have a look, see if the shuttle can get in. The Ling is going to scout this. There is a Sunken, but the Sunken is out of range. Oh, but this is a lot of Muteless coming in here. This is actually a good amount of damage. He doesn't have +1 Carapace yet, but he is gonna target down the shuttle the best he can, I believe. There's not much here to defend. Looks like he can't get it, but the shuttle's actually in a really difficult position. There we go. He does drop the Reaver, and that does mean he's a little bit safer as we go forward. Now, +1 Carapace is almost done. This is going to be a big damage breakpoint for Zero to have, or a big defense breakpoint, I guess. We've got Citadel and Templar Archives coming in here. Now we've got a second gateway, so the gateway count is still very, very low, but we do have shuttle speed, which means the shuttle's going to finally be able to catch up with these Corsairs, but this is definitely a risky play to fly ahead with the shuttle. If you get caught off guard by Scourge, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. This is 2 Reavers, and oh my god, the Mulists are actually in a position where they could intercept the shuttle. The Corsair count, not that high. +1 carapace is done. Okay, he was going for the shuttle, but unfortunately he's actually just going to lose a load of Mutalists because of that. But he is going to get the Corsairs. This is all the Corsairs that Tem has. He's been building these up the entire game. And we do actually have a lot of cannons coming up here, but the Reavers, oh my god, that Reaver Scarab going off in the natural, the third base is so huge. The shuttle's going to go down. He's going to lose both of the Reavers. Oh, this Reaver does get out. Is he going to be able to get a Scarab off before he dies on the minerals? No, he isn't. So Zero does clean that up, but he took a massive hit to his economy there. That was insane. Now Zero is getting ready to, well, he is taking the other main right now. Could be getting ready to take this base as well. And the longer this game goes on, the harder it's going to get for Tem, because while he did get a good engagement on the Mutas, he lost all of his anti-air. Oh no, he didn't. He's kept 4 of his Corsairs alive, but that's still not that many. Now is Zero going for +2 carapace? Yes, he is. So we should see +2 attack coming in here, or this could be a bit of a problem. But Zero definitely not in a great position here. He's trying to take down one of the Corsairs, but doesn't manage it. Well, okay, so he killed that one, but he didn't manage to get the other ones, is what I meant to say. I am not good with words today. It's all good though. But we've got the third base up for Zero. Fourth base has come in, and Zero does have enough hatcheries that he can focus now, or he can really focus on mass droning, and that's exactly what he's doing. He needs to catch up in economy. His opponent has a third base coming in, and that's when things start to get a little bit more difficult. The Corsair count is continuing to grow. We've got Archons coming in, so not Storm straight away, just going straight into Archons. And the Archons are actually going to be pretty good at killing this stasis cell. Now, if you don't know about the way these work, essentially they are stacked. So if you have splash damage, you kill them quicker. I think there's 2 of them stacked on top of each other, so that definitely helps. Now, Zero doesn't have a Queen's Nest just yet, so unfortunately we're not going to have any second snare play. We do have a Hydra then coming in with the Hydra upgrades. The 4th base is of course done. And if you can secure this 4th gas, that's when things start to get really good for the Zerg player. Now it looks like the Mutalists are going to be flying down over to the bottom left. They are still a little bit bruised from before. Does want to be very careful, but the Corsair count still isn't that high. +2 carapace though is not yet finished. An extra hatchery coming in actually over here. So Zero, his economy is going to be looking pretty good. Now the Mutas are going to come in at a position where they're not going to be focused down by the Corsairs here, which is pretty good. And he is getting really nice moving shots on these Corsairs. This is so hard to do. But if he kills these Corsairs, there's literally nothing to hold on, but the Archon at home is going to be doing so much. Oh, the Scourge coming in, getting an extra Corsair here. But these Mutas are very heavily bruised. The Archons do have +1. Oh, and the Scourge coming on top of the Corsairs again. Another Corsair goes down. Only 1 is remaining. How much of the Muteless micro map has Zero played? Let's see if he tries to take on these Archons. It is very difficult, but if you micro perfectly, you can do it. But of course, they're probably playing on like turn rate 16 or 14, so that's definitely going to cause a few problems. Now, there is 4 Archons here, which are very strong units when the Zerg doesn't have much on the ground, but Zero, he's already gone in or started going into mass Hydralisks. And now the Muta's going to be able to get here, cancel this base most likely, will be able to kill the cannons very easily. Cannons are incredibly weak when they're warping in as well, so the 4th base attempt by Tem is going to be blocked. Now looks like he did break through these very quickly, but we do have a lot of Hydras here trying to block these Archons from getting through. There's no ground upgrades past +1 attack at the moment for Zero, but he is going in for +2. I should see that starting to come in soon. Range is still not actually done by the Hydras. This is actually a really late range if you think about normal ZVP, but this isn't your everyday ZVP. Now this Dark Templar is actually a very clever play. He knows that Zero doesn't have any Overlords here, so if he pushes forward, if he sneaks that DT in, this could actually be quite devastating. Now, The DT gonna get on top, do a lot of damage to these Hydras. The Hydras need to pull back to their reinforcements. And this is when things start to get a little bit more difficult for our Protoss player. The Archons, yes, they're strong. Oh my god, that's a nice storm. But nice dodge as well by Zero. One of the Archons going down already. A great second storm. A great third storm as well. And Tem is doing so much damage pushing forward here. The storms are incredible. But the Hydra count coming off of all of these hatcheries definitely high. Targets down the Archons again. And he is going to be able to get yet another Archon for free before it can really do too much. And these High Templar are going to go down as well. One of them's got a storm, is going to use it. This is the sign of a good Protoss player, everyone. Just knowing when you have enough energy to storm and just using it. Even if you know you're going to lose the High Templar, if you can storm and do a little bit of damage, then that is better than nothing at all. And that's really, really cool to see. I'm so glad we actually saw that storm come out. The amount of times we see players completely ignore their storm energy and just lose the High Templar anyway. Even if you storm yourself, it's better than nothing. But Zero definitely in a good position now, going up to the 5th base. Going to clear his way through these eggs, but I don't know if this is the case on this map, but on some maps, like, the eggs have like 20 armor, so it does take a while to get through. Now we do actually have a drop coming in here to this to the natural here of Zero. He is going to be able to take down the Sunken, but it looks like he's only getting at 1 drone, maybe 2 drones. No, drones are pretty strong. Takes 3 hits to kill a drone. They do as much damage as the Vulture essentially to a drone, which is kind of insane. But the Mule is still over here, still getting damage done where they can, and just really blocking Temtem from expanding. Temtem is the name of the game, just Tem. But the problem Tem is going to have is when you look at the architecture of the map, where does he actually expand? Zero is going to get ready to put a big contain on in the middle of the map. He's going to be able to expand to the middle. And because he still technically has air dominance, because he killed all of the Corsairs, we never saw them be rebuilt. It means Tem is never going to be able to take an island base. So Tem is essentially locked in. So as long as Zero doesn't make any horrific errors, he is going to be in an incredibly good position in this game. Now we have Hive finally coming in here. Queen's Nest is done. I don't think we're going to see any Queens from Zero. It's not really his style to go for Ensnare, but Ensnare is very good in this position. It makes it very hard to run away from the Lurkers. Very hard to run up and storm the Lurkers as well. But here we go. Nice storm on that front one. Looks like this Dragoon is checking the amount of Lurkers there. A little bit unfortunate. How did that not die? +1 armor. Dragoon strong. Edgewater, is he named after the Pokemon clone Temtem? I have no idea. I have no clue, but probably not. Oh, nice storm on the Hydras. Now, Tem is mined out of his natural. He is mined out almost of his main. He's only got about 300 minerals left here. And his 3rd base is going to be the only mining base he has. Now Tem is still getting ready to push out, but Zero very sensibly spread his Lurkers very, very well here. And he just has so many units. Like, I think this may be just a little bit too much. Like, Tem, yes, he's near maxed, but he is going to be pushing through Lurkers. This is not where you want to be. The Shuttle actually taking a Scourge. The Reaver has dropped out. This is a strong Protoss army. But is this just too much Zerg here? Like, Tem needs to make this work. The Storms, brilliant. From Tem, another storm, amazing, but he's just not killing the Lurkers. He's taking so much damage. But where are Zero's units? Okay, they're a little bit further back. He is still able to hold on here. These Lurkers are a lot for Zero, though. They are very, very important. Oh my god, he splits that Lurker off. It's gonna die anyway, but that's another 15 minerals that Tem has to play. Now there is a drop coming in at the 3rd base. Remember, this is the only base that Tem has remaining that is mining, and while this is going on, we're going to see Zero push forward with his Hydralisk. He focuses down the Reaver. A storm comes in at the perfect moment to hold on to some of those front units, but it looks like he's pulling Tem into his lurker field. The Observer is lagging behind. He loses one of those High Templar. The units down in the bottom left have been cleaned. A Storm on his own mineral line, but the Mulus does survive. And I think Zero may have done it. I think Zero has just given NetWars a win over White Clan in week 3. That's insane. But this is still a strong army here from Tem. If we actually have a look at the upgrades, he's on 3-1. But look at the reinforcements from Zero. He's going to be able to come in only from one angle, which is definitely a problem. He needs to open up this. But this is just Hydra against Dragoon. And Crackling is finally done as well. And that's when things start to tip against the Protoss player. Cracklings do so much damage to Hydra, but the High Templar getting sniped by the Hydras as well. And this is just so good by Zero. Zero has played this out perfectly. His supply has plummeted though, but so has Tem's. And Tem is effectively mining from a quarter of a base down here in the bottom left. He has to secure another base somehow. And he's even struggling to afford a Nexus. This is do or die. And he is pushing into the heartlands of the Zerg here. And that is definitely not a place he wants to find himself undefended. Now, oh, we got another big drop coming in here. Actually, a lurker drop as well. All the probes are actually lined up in a row, but they do manage to get through. He's trying to expand to the top left, or maybe even distance mine there. But Zero pushing in with Hydras as well, just causing so much devastation. And Tem's units, not really sure what to do with them. He's just trying to build up an army and go, but he is being dwarfed in supply by Zero now. And Mr. Bombastic showing how he is Mr. Fantastic in this game. Looks like Tem is going to push forward. So many units here from Zero, though there is a few storms, but not as many as he needs to break through everything. We've even got sunken colonies coming up here as well, because Zero knows all he has to do is hold on against this army, and he has the game won. He's got perfect vision of his opponent. The storms are strong, but they're not strong enough. GG, Tem taps out and Zero takes game number 4 and gives the series to NetWars 3-1. Now let's have a look at the results here. NetWars with a win over White Clan. This is actually going to give White Clan their second win, or their second loss in 3 weeks. They lost in week 1 to EF, and in week 3 they've lost to NetWars. And NetWars completely dominated the show today. Koga with a fantastic showing over Kanyang. Yeti with a dominant all-in over Fairy. I mean, that was actually a little bit closer. That could have definitely gone Fairy's way if Yeti had lost one of those Reavers a little bit sooner. Yes Man taking down Zoom in a fairly straightforward TBZ. Zoom definitely wasn't prepared for that. And Zero taking down Tem in an amazing fashion here on Inner Coven Core Breach. Really, really good. Amazing play by NetWars here. Amazing play by White Clan as well. And White Clan definitely going to be in a little bit of trouble the later the season goes on, but there are still 10 more, no, there's 9 more play weeks for them, I think it is. Maybe, wait. I think there's 11 weeks of play, so they've got 7 more weeks remaining and one bye week. So all is not lost for White Clan. They have plenty of time to make their way back into the playoffs later on in the season, but definitely they didn't want to be in this situation. Now, that is all we've got time for today. There is no additional series. We will be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. We're going to be raiding Master Ray in a second. But just before we go, once again, a massive shout out to our sponsors, Liquipedia, Matrino, and Esport Fund. Overall, we now have a 1,377 prize pool out of our $2,000 prize pool goal. So if we can make it to that goal, it would be great. If you can help out at all, please do put some money towards Matrino. If you can't help out monetarily, you can still add money. I've got my own command wrong. to the Match Arena page by paying absolutely nothing. Put the code in STPL3, and that means you can add 50 cents to the prize pool completely free. Doesn't cost a thing. If you want to support us on Patreon, you can. The Patreon link is in the chat. And if you want to support us, the best way you can do it is keep watching, tell your friends about it, follow us on Twitter, and sub on YouTube, and let's get those numbers up. And the bigger we can get, the bigger the prize pool gets, the more sponsors we can have, and the more sponsors we can attract to Brood War. So thank you once again, everybody who tuned in. Have a very wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and have a great Friday. And see you tomorrow, 2100 CEST, same time, same place.